I went to the RSL the other night and had a very nice night's entertainment. Beryl, that's the wife, came along too. Beryl's not a drinker, but she had a shandy. She put in quite a reasonable quantity of time yarning with Norm Purvis's good lady, and I had a beer with old Norm and some of the other chappies there. I don't say no to the occasional odd glass. And Ian Preston, an old friend of mine, got up and sang a few humorous numbers, not too blue on account of the women folk, so that altogether it was a really nice type of night's entertainment for us both. We called it a day round about 10ish. Didn't want to make it too late at night, as Beryl had a big wash in her hands on the Monday morning, and I had to be in town pretty early, stock taking and one thing and another. Well, we got back to Gallipoli Crescent about 20 past, and Beryl and I went to bed. Oh, we were very glad we hadn't made it too late at night on the Sunday, because the Chapmans were expecting us over on the Monday night for a couple of hours to look at some slides of their trip. They're a very nice type of person, and some of the coloured pictures he'd taken up north were a real picture. Vi Chapman had gone to a lot of trouble with the savouries, and altogether it was a really lovely night's entertainment for the two of us. Educational too. Well, round about 10 I said we'd have to be toddling. You see, we didn't want to make it too late at night because Tuesday was the tennis club picture night and Beryl had a couple of tickets. Well, there's not much I can say about the Tuesday, except that it was a really lovely night's entertainment. We're not ones for the pictures as a rule, but when we do go, we like to see a good, bright show. After all, there's enough unhappiness and sadness in the world without going to see it in the theatre. Had a bit of strife parking the vehicle. You know what it's like up around that intersection near the Civic. Anyway, we found a posse in the long run, just when we were beginning to think we might miss the blessed newsreel. The newsreel had a few shots of some of the poorer type of Italian housing condition on the continent, and it made Beryl and I realise just how fortunate we were to have the comfort of our own home and all the little amenities round the home that make life easier for the women folk and the men folk generally in the home. We left soon after interval, as the next show wasn't the best, and I was feeling a bit on the tired side. Besides, Beryl was expecting her sister and her husband over for 500 on the Wednesday, and we didn't want to make it too late a night. So Beryl and I went to bed. Had to slip out of the office on the Wednesday lunch hour to get a few cashews to put round the card table. Beryl was running up a batch of sponge fingers with the passion fruit icing. There's no doubt about it. Beryl makes a lovely sponge finger. Well, the card night went off very nicely indeed, except that Beryl's sister Lorna got a bit excited during the 500 and knocked over a cup of tea and a curried egg sandwich on the new carpet. Oh, she was very apologetic, but as I said to Beryl later, being sorry won't buy you a new wall-to-wall. And you know what curried egg does to a burgundy Axminster. By and large, though, all things considered, and taking everything into account, it was a pretty nice night's entertainment. They left early-ish, and Beryl and I went to bed. Thursday was a bit quiet at the office, and I was just as glad because I'd been feeling a bit more on the tired side than usual. Beryl had another fitting that night. She's having a new frock made for Jeff and Janice's wedding at Holy Trinity on the 21st, and she wants to wear something a bit special. You know what the women folk are like. Anyway, I dropped her off at the Dressmaker's on the way to lodge. It was a bit on the latish side when I got home, and I went straight to bed, and we had a very nice night rest. I'm always glad when Friday comes. Beryl and I usually have a nice quiet night in the home. It's the only chance I get to view the TV. There's usually a good story on of a Friday night, or else an educational quiz. Beryl had been down to the town hall library and got herself a good mystery, so that between the two of us we had a very nice night's home entertainment. But we'd had a run of late nights, and we were both pretty fagged. So round about 10, I filled the hottie, and Beryl and I went to bed. I was glad we hadn't made it too late a night, as we had to be down at the junction pretty early on the Saturday morning for the weekend shopping. Had a bit of strife parking the vehicle, though. You know what it's like at the junction on a Saturday morning. However, I found a nice posse in the long run, just when we were beginning to think we might miss the blessed butcher. I had a few minutes' worry, though. I lost Beryl in the food-arama, but she had the good sense to go back to the car. I got home in time for a bite of lunch, and then I had to whiz out again to the football. Beryl stayed at home to do the weekend baking. Had the usual trouble parking the vehicle. You know what it's like at Memorial Park on a Saturday, Arvo. However, found a posse in the long run just when I was thinking I'd be late for the bounce. Oh, you wouldn't catch me missing an important semi. Beryl had packed me a nice thermos of Milo, and I was pretty glad of it. It's very cold and blowy in the outer. Had a bit of trouble shifting the vehicle. You know what it's like at Memorial Park after a big match, utility wedged right there in front of me. However, I got it out in the long run, just when I was beginning to think Beryl would have to wait tea. By the time I got home, it was that blowy. The Herald was all over the front lawn. Next door had invited us in to see if we liked their new 25-inch. But I'd had a very nice afternoon's entertainment, and Beryl wasn't that keen. So we made an early night of it and went to bed. Always clean the car of a Sunday morning and do a bit of pottering in the garden. bit worried about those roadies. Had the roast midday, as we only like a light tea if we're going out of a Sunday night. Saves a big wash-up. I'm really looking forward to the RSL tonight, because if you can go by experience, it ought to be a very nice night's entertainment.